All right, so here we are. Sandra Hess, founder of DTC Wine Workshops. I have the pleasure today of sitting with Brendan Finley from Wente.
Hi, Sandra. How are you? Thanks for coming out to Wente today.
Thanks so much for
sunny
having
day, so.
me. Gorgeous day to
Yeah.
be here. I really enjoy
February,
it.
70 degrees.
Oh, gotta love it here. I love California, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And especially out here in Livermore, where I know Wente, you have so much going on at the various properties, and you being the VP of sales and tasting rooms,
yes,
are quite busy these days.
They're very busy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have on property, we have about 300,000 visitors that come through with the restaurant, golf. We have two restaurants, the golf, and then we have 4 different tasting venues that you can go through. So 3 focusing on the Wente brand, and 1 is our Marriott as Well brand.
Mm-hmm.
And within the Wente brand, we have 2 that focus all on our Wente wines, our small lots, and then we have our new winemaker studio that opened. That's more of an experience education center that gives you more, tells you a lot about Livermore Valley, tells you the history of what's happening here in the family history, and then you get to blend your own wine, and we have 5 different experiences you can go through. So.
I love that. I had the pleasure a few months ago of meeting some girlfriends out here in Livermore, and we visited the winemaker studio, and we were just thrilled with the fact that not only when we arrived, we were so welcomed, and by your wonderful host there, Brandon.
Brandon, yes.
He is fabulous.
Yes.
And then we peeked into the custom blending room, and definitely want to get back.
Yeah, definitely have to come and do that. It's a great experience, especially our corporate clients love it. Great for pre-bridal parties and so forth.
Absolutely.
And a lot of fun hanging out, some pre-wedding parties to go there. So
a lot of different opportunities to have experiences here at Wente Vineyards in Livermore.
Yes, totally. We definitely, each room has anywhere from 4 to 5 different experiences that they can offer. So, and besides just the regular tastings that we do.
Excellent. So in today's case study number 7 of the DTC Wine Workshops case study series, we're going to talk about reservation management. And I'm really impressed with the fact that Wente, about a year ago, decided to launch online reservation management tools, allowing first-time visitors, repeat visitors, more opportunities to explore the various experiences here at Wente. Can you tell us what led you to choosing CELLARPASS and why you decided to go that way?
Sure. I think one of the main reasons we looked at it was, one, with all the traffic that we do have mentioned, 70,000, but a weekend with heavy traffic, we weren't able to, we were looking at ways to talk to our guests a little bit closer and get to know them, especially for new guests that wanted to come, really understanding our wines, understanding a little history. With all the different experiences we had, we said, let's really look at what experiences can we do and give a little bit more time with them and experiences. So we really wanted a reservation because it was kind of coming, a lot of walk-in business was coming in, but we didn't have that one-on-one time with the guests. So we first said, let's really look at that. And then how do we sell those experiences online to our guests as well, preempting them to, before they came on property, to have this experience pre-booked and ready to go. So it was kind of one of our reasons where we were. So with Wente was our first one that we put on there, was to be able to look at our, do a tour of the property. So from our bottling to our vineyard, understanding our vineyard makeup, what it was. And then really in the winemaker studio was to have this blending class. We needed to have pre-booked reservations so that we could have them come in. We have a black class tasting that we do. So that's kind of the blind tasting, similar class, aroma seminar, and our food and wine classes that we have. So those we definitely needed to know how many guests were coming at what time, and also be able to book and staff our associates correctly for those.
Okay, so you bring up a really good point. So you decided to go very specific with these elevated tasting experiences where the reservations are required. Roll those out first with CELLARPASS reservation tools, and then from there you needed to match up also the proper staffing. So how did you go about selecting individuals within your respective teams to host this style experiences?
Yes, so we have on our properties, we have 4 different level of ambassadors. So we have ambassadors that are just for tasting and kind of giving that experience, and then you educate, and throughout the hours that you work, you get put into different positions. Then you can become a tour ambassador, then you become an education ambassador, and then you become a full educator that can tell the whole story and history of the family and Livermore Valley, go through CWS training and be able to really compare the different, what's different between Napa, Livermore, Santa Barbara, and so forth. Then you become that full educator. So we had those 4 different, so being able to give those different ambassador levels the right guests that they're talking to and being able to have that experience with. And then what was interesting when we started the program with CELLARPASS was really let's look at our experiences and what they were. But the most important thing was they were saying, well, wait a minute, you have all this traffic. What about just that regular tasting guest that wants to come in and get the experience? Then we said, oh, that's a really good idea. Let's also schedule appointments for that group of 4 to 6 that want to come in and just do a tasting experience to give them some more one-on-one time. And especially those who are first to Livermore, not understanding why they're here. We get such a great repeat business, but we also want to be able to get that new guest that was coming in. So that started the next level of, now we're booking the 2 to 4 that just want to get that really one-on-one tasting experience and not be at the counter having the experience just to come in and taste. They want to get a little bit more.
Sure. So from what I understand now, you've got, either first-time visitors or repeat visitors booking online for the tasting experiences. What happens after they make that initial booking? Yeah,
so then once it's booked, we go into CELLARPASS, we look where the reservation is, then the ambassador who's in charge will go to get more detailed information. So they'll get to know the guests a little bit more. Why are they coming? Is it a birthday party? Is it a celebration? Is it a corporate event? They'll get a little more information. They'll also get more information on the guests that are coming. So that's when we can do that wow factor when they come on property, get to know who their guests are, why they're here, also get to know all their guest names and kind of give that extra touch of having guest names written on cards, going through the menu tasting. So then each guest has their individual name on there and so forth. So really giving that hospitality experience that I think we've been seeing a lot in the DTC meetings lately is that drive of hospitality.
I love hearing that, and I'm so excited that Wente has rolled out these type of elevated experiences, but really has matched the right tools to the process. And so taking CELLARPASS, really leveraging it, not only from a customer experience perspective, but making sure your staff has the right tools to better qualify and prepare for those first-time visitors.
Totally, yes, because we definitely want to make one surprise and delight, which we always talk about, but really making sure one for us is getting guests to understand what Livermore Valley is and the Wente family history of 130 years and really telling that. So that was definitely being able to do that. And it just, I think most people today, they want to have that fun experience, but they want to know that they're special. They don't want to just be coming in and, okay, you're feed me, get me out. Like, let's be special. So that was the most important, was kind of just drive it that way.
Good. It's really exciting to hear that you've gone in that direction. And so that also, brings me to the point around reservation management tools. I mean, I think, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, there was Open Table. There were a lot of different, style tools to choose from. Why did you select CELLARPASS? And
we chose CELLARPASS was one we felt not only was CELLARPASS good for all the qualities that it has to in-house for us to make the reservation and get to know the guest information, but CELLARPASS has that web page where it's also, so when you go on CELLARPASS, let's say you put in Livermore, it shows not only Wente, but it shows all the other Livermore Valley wineries that are on it. So it's kind of giving that guest a little bit more experience of what's happening. So maybe they weren't looking at Wente, they were looking at a Concannon or another property that was our property on our site. And they said, oh, well, here, we might as well go see Wente. So it was kind of helping us almost be a marketing tool and advertise for us to see other places. So, and then where we felt CELLARPASS being right now, a little bit stronger in Sonoma and Napa, now putting Livermore, those Sonoma and Napa people that were really impressed with CELLARPASS are now coming on there to go, hey, I want to go wine tasting somewhere else in Northern California. Where else can I go? And now they're looking at Livermore, and they were able to pick up. So we almost increased our database of guests that we could find and talk to us. Yeah, I love that. It was just amazing for us. So we're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And we saw so many new guests that we thought it was going to be for the guests that were already here, but we saw so many new guests coming on as well. I'd
love to hear about that. And in just a moment, we're going to get into the true ROI discussion of what this has meant for you in terms of added
the most important ROI.
Numbers. That's right. The bottom line. Let's get there. Let's get there in a minute. So exciting to hear that you have, obviously an opportunity here at Wente to service guests in many different capacities, whether it's the various tasting rooms that you've mentioned, you've got your restaurants, you've got golfing out here, you've got so much going on. And so now this is taking that experience to the next level, making sure there's a nice reservation tool available for first-time visitors. What is this meaning also for your club members?
I think for our club members, one, it's giving them a tool, one, to be able to book and do experiences that they want to do and get to know the property, also impress their guests and be able to bring people, and it gets us to know, okay, this club member's coming, we know we got to take care of them and kind of give them that added touch, but really for them to be able to also showcase, it's kind of their property. It's like a private club, like, hey, this is Wente. You won't believe all the experiences I have as a club member. I even get to have all these other experiences, and they could go on one site and book it. It's kind of an easy tool for them as well.
Great. I love
So-
hearing that. I mean, obviously from a direct-to-consumer wine sales perspective, we're always looking at the bottom line in terms of net growth and increase in average order value and all of those really important aspects, but also, making sure there's a fine balance with club member retention and hospitality initiatives. And it sounds like CELLARPASS has really been able to support Wente across all of those
across all.
initiatives.
Yeah, it's been a great tool for us. So we'll be implementing it now in our vineyard tasting room, and then Marysville will open in June, and there'll be a full process there, and we'll have 4 different experiences there as well. So it'll be an added tool as well.
Okay, great. So Myriad, as well, you touched on a little bit. What's different about that experience than what you currently have with the Wente properties?
Most of the experiences now on the Wente brand are really wine-driven, mostly tours or type of classes, where Myriad as well is going to be a little bit more wine with food experiences.
Great.
So we're going to have an element of kind of coming and tasting, but also you could almost have a full menu style feel. So you'll be able to come and experience 7 different types tapas style menus that you can share and have with your guests. So there'll be a full reservation, almost like a restaurant reservation, but we're not a full dining facility, but we're going to be that tapas tasting and really showcase our wines and really bring those to the handcrafted blends together and how they pair well with food.
So you're going to get the wine and food enthusiasts involved in that. I cannot wait myself until you open.
We're very excited. So we're doing some tasting. So we're getting ready.
A lot of foodies out that way.
Yeah,
good for you. Well, great. So you've given me a really good understanding today as to why Wente here in Livermore has selected CELLARPASS, not only to better serve your club members, but to also grow your reach, reaching the right audiences, those in the CELLARPASS community that are exploring other wine regions, introducing them to the Livermore wine region, and some of the experiences here at Wente.
Yeah.
Now, are you ready to share the ROI with us and what this has meant over the past 12 months?
Yeah, I think the first 5 for us was, one was the easy reservation making. That really helped our team and developing what they needed to do. It was an easy process. It's easy to work with, so you don't have all these papers standing around or someone misputting one reservation somewhere, not putting it the other way. So it was easy that way. Personal service, we talked about definitely being able to talk to that guest, get their name, get their experience, kind of, again, surprise and delight was most important. Staffing, now we're able to staff efficiently. So we know when guests are coming, when they arrive, when they're on property, at what time. We're able to move around. I think we're all challenged right now with how we staff, how we give out breaks. Now we're able to move that around. So it was a really good tool for us for staffing.
Great.
And most importantly, higher room sales. What we definitely did when we started with CELLARPASS, we started to look at what was the spend per guest at the tasting bar to the guest that was getting this one-on-one experience, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then most importantly, brand loyalists. I think what we really walked away with, because a guest has limited time in what they're doing, they really want to get an experience that's quality. They came on property, they were met by a greeter, taken to their experience, and able to go again and go out somewhere else if they were here. Especially most people are touring Livermore or Napa Sonoma. They're trying to get 3 or 4 experiences in one. And to be able to have that one-on-one, okay, hey, you promised me 1 o'clock.
Right.
I got my experience, was here for an hour to hour and a half, and I was able to leave. That was definitely, we saw a lot of brand loyalists going, they were ready for us, we were ready to have our tasting, and we were ready to leave and be taken care of.
And those are the stories that people love telling their friends and family about.
Totally.
We were treated so well. We had such a great experience. We highly recommend it. Let's go back and do it again.
Yeah. And then for us was, so most important, obviously, we all know that in the tasting business, it's driving club. We saw a 25% higher conversion rate when we were able to spend that time with the guests, that they became club members right away. So that was really one of the big ones. From CELLARPASS, we saw 40% new traffic, which wasn't what we thought was going to be our expectation. We actually thought, again, this was going to be for guests who already came. They were going to just be able to book. But we saw 40% new guests coming that had been CELLARPASS guests that booked because of that and came on property.
Excellent.
So that was great for us. And then 30% of them spent more money. So that was the most important, was when you compare to what a guest spent at the tasting bar to having a reservation, we saw a $35 to $45 increase in spend per that party.
Excellent.
Because they were able to have that one-on-one and really get to walk with the ambassador and be able to spend.
I love hearing that, because it's so consistent with what we're seeing in recent studies with Silicon Valley Bank's May tasting room report, that truly the sit down, hour to an hour and a half tasting experience is resulting in 5 times the amount of spend in the tasting room bar. So Wente also is really starting to see major traction in the increase in average order value.
Very much, yes.
So excellent to hear that. So I'm hearing not only a 25% increase in terms of the conversion rates from those type of experiences to club and so forth, 30% increase in average order value, but the increase in number of visitors, I mean, that's striking.
Striking. We were surprised, and we just couldn't believe it. And that just really said we picked the right one, because we're like, again, they have a database that is out there that wants to get some experiences and want to be seeing other properties. And so right there, we got a marketing tool that we didn't even know we had coming to us. So it was great.
And then above and beyond the financials, hearing that from a customer standpoint, customer satisfaction, you've got people really happy to come in and invest an hour to an hour and a half with you using CELLARPASS. In addition, from a staff perspective, they've got better qualification tools at their fingertips to call up and confirm the appointment, learn about how they can make that a more meaningful time together, which obviously builds that loyalty after
total
that
loyalty.
visit.
And being able to put the right staff with that right guest was so important, because you have the bachelor and the bachelorette party, and you have the 40th birthday and the 50th birthday, and that takes a different staff member that's going to know how to handle them, to the 4 or 6 people that are, as you said, foodies and wine people that want an education. They're here to learn, and they want to get a little bit more knowledge. Then you put that right ambassador with the right person. So
I love that.
It was great.
It's an ideal match.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Great. So Brendan, Finley, always a pleasure to sit down and chat with you. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.